Altercation sequence. The metropolises of our world were architecturally stunning during this age, influenced by impressive intergalactic cities. Traffic during this time accelerated astonishingly with intertwining patterns of light. There were events elegant in the city of Novia, which inspired many ultra-screen viewers, taking place in mountain surface modular buildings with exquisite patterns. Aspects such as this were decent. Unfortunately, despite these beautiful things, unity was scarce, for cities all over the world engaged off and on in morbid warfare. This period was a time when almost all of Drianna's cities clashed and had great conflict with one another. This situation would have a tremendous impact that would cause many battles and important events to take place, especially via remote tech altered incapability. What was good about the time strived to make a greater impact, but the conflicts were brutal. Sentries from Evra, who could blast others causing them to only speak facts while the projectile was within the targets, gained recognition. They plead to the malcontent cities that their situations could be upgraded if they allowed more units to warp them into the future via city installations. Their hope was to exchange the circumstances with more resolved versions, particularly upgrading highest most celebrated occasions of the time that brought unity. The life within cities in high spirits trying to resolve the conflict could have been extended with the visitors. Wayward forces would attempt to cause their influence to dwindle in most cities. More units were saddened. A heated option would have made the time they traveled to a golden age. People from that time would have been willing, but still the disputes were great. Sea infiltrators from Rana, the city composed of water, invaded the outer region of continents and islands and made their lifestyle a cultural phenomenon influencing the rest of the world via ultra-screen. Key diplomats of the eras following vital cities, Arden and its council, the Haven Alisar, Tri-Level Genora, Military Zone Ardenia, conflicted Ceylon, who stood as a city most desiring of peace in Oneida, Mala, and the city of Zeta, would have provided insights from an age of reason. They were attacked and hunted by those who wanted conflict, and many whom they sent didn't survive. This conflict of unready generals from the frozen continent of Lorna and realm red units from continent Selva's virtual realm turned hologram is what they gave us. One was manufactured by the planets that detest the natural elements. They were abysmal to come in contact with. There weren't many hostile realm-tested minds bringing the vital elements lacking that lasted. There were new Malans and night-lifers who became great opposition to the conflict during this time. They went back and forth between working together and fighting. When in agreement, they communicated via eye lens, face expression capture to hide vital information from the opposition. They could not maintain strength. Their armies were decimated to a considerable extent. When they were changing for the better in the eyes of onlookers, there was hope they could be more. This tragedy inspired other cities in Drianna to stop their quarrels, inspired change in unexpected cities. Contributors from Mala 1 utilized tech that moves large objects that could also cause earthquakes. They had great influence. If many were not manufactured by the world's detesting natural elements, they could have made a difference. Impressing the world, with a virtual realm city composed of synthetic muscle, and using armor from the regenerating surfaces, they had the potential to be invulnerable to a certain degree. They were, also with AI they possessed, capable of winning over minds, via a word and or expression. Having all of this beneficial behavior-altering tech, those that weren't opposition could win over scared recruits chosen to help heal the cities. They could have been this type of warrior, against all strategies implemented, with a spirit to win over civilian and soldier alike. Unfortunately, the hostility of the time consumed them and they engaged in heavier crippling wars with the cities around them. As our world and more units stated, it would have been better off exchanged with the time admired and sought after, a future conflict many could see via a variety of dimensional curtains fused. Deseran units had enough. They would not let go of the possibilities more offered. Though small in number, they stood against the disputes. Despite not having the clout of their neighbors, they fought to overcome the drawbacks of their time to the benefit of the world both present and future. They sought the more units and their solution, and they accepted. Together they fought neighboring cities and installed Sormary's devices. change occurred, the fighting stopped in those zones. This would inspire the warriors from the city of Novia to rise and fight wayward Sabatu hours in cities, causing the conflicts joining these forces that made a difference. The persevering survivors of the Nightlifer and New Malin armies would also join them, and together they would fight for the world and help it to carry on into the next century better and unscathed.